was looking at some highlights. You went out basically out to center ice and you met Ray Emery one-on-one. What the hell were you thinking? What was going through your mind?
You forgot though. Let me say, you forgot his nickname was Sugar Ray. So just so people get some background, Sugar Ray Emery. You met him out at center ice. You crazy.
I used to laugh because one day I went and weighed myself with my full goalie equipment. And when I was at the peak of my physical specimen shape, I was about 175 pounds, right? So I'd weigh myself.
With the gear on?
With the gear on, I'd be 225, 215 to 225, depending. And I'm like, Ray is 230, like no gear on, right? So
butt ass naked. Yeah.
I'm not in the right weight class. Like I'm fighting up 3 or 4 classes. But anyway, I always thought I was going to get in a fight in the NHL and I was going to be the one that was going to get the lucky punch. I remember watching Felix Potvin go after Ron Extall and Felix just getting a couple of rights in there. And Ron Extall's bleeding and whatever. Now, at the time, I didn't know that Felix Potvin grew up like his dad was biker, like gang type stuff. And Felix would have like street fights all the time. So I'm like, the guy has gotten in many fights in his career or in his life. Now, I think I'll get lucky. I'll be like the Felix Potvin against Ron Extall. I'll get a few lucky punches in there and I'll knock somebody out. So I always not look for a fight, but I always welcome that if it's presenting itself, I'll get into one. So now, this is 06-07 with the Buffalo Sabres. And we've had a bunch of injuries the last few games. We lost a few of our key players. And then we play Ottawa, which was always a rival of us. And we played them at home. Now, the year before, we beat them in the second round on Jason Pominville overtime goal. So it's always a big rivalry. Chris Drury gets absolutely elbowed in the face by Chris Neal late. It would have been a 15-game suspension at minimum right now, right? Chris Neal was, he was a tough guy, dirty player, but he played the game tough and whatnot. And he was a hero in Ottawa for what he did. Fan loved him. But and I was at the other end of the ice and I saw Neal come in with the elbow and boom, right in the face of Chris Drury. So our co-captain is laying concussed on the ice and we're at home. So we get to put our players on the ice last, right? So I see Ottawa. Brian Murray puts out Mike Comrie, Jason Spezza, and Dan Heatley. And Lindy Ruff responds with Admir, Andrew Peters, and Pat Kaleta, which was his first NHL game, by the way. So Pat Kaleta
he's a Buffalo kid too, right?
Buffalo kid. The day before in his hometown, the town of Eden and Angola, outside of Buffalo, they gave him the key to the city, the key to the town or whatnot. Amazing. It was a whole big thing. Pat Kaleta is going to play. They call it Pat Kaleta Day. So we're on Pat Kaleta Day, and he's playing, and he's on the ice. And I know at that point what's going to happen. I know this is going to be a 5-on-5 brawl. I've got my glove loosened up. I'm already like taking my blocker out. Puck drops. Peters goes after Heatley. Everything happens. Now it's a dance, right? And I look at the other end, and Ray is not going to back down from any fight. So he comes to center ice. I meet him on center ice. Take my mask off. He takes his mask off, and he's laughing. He's laughing like he's about to eat on a prey, like he's that predator that's about to jump on that gazelle, right? He's like, I'm going to just chomp on this guy. So I circle around, and I grab, and Rupper, I wish you'd have been my teammate back then because you and I would have wrestled in practice. And I grabbed with my right hand in front of me on his left shoulder, which eventually opened up his right hand to just go and wail on me. So now I'm like, oh no, I didn't grab the right hand. I'm trying to get away from all these punches. He didn't hit me over here, nothing in the face. He caught me in the back of the head because I turned my head. I had like one of those Fred Flintstone bumps for like weeks, literally, like it was so painful. So we fell down on the ice, and then he's like, let's get back up and do it again. I'm like, sure. What? So I push him. Oh yeah. I'm like literally I'm into it.
You should pretend you're sleeping.
No. I'm like, let's do it again. He's like, let's get back up. So I kind of trip him a little bit. He falls down. We both get up, and I'm looking at him. And all of a sudden, Ray looks over, and Andrew Peters coming over. And Ray kind of looked at me and was like, I'm done with you. Get out of here. I'm fighting this guy. So Ray Emery ends up fighting Andrew Peters. Too. He's loving to fight Petey. And Ray actually got a 2 minutes for leaving his crease, a 5 minute for fighting, a 5 minute for fighting, a 10-minute misconduct for being second fight, and a game misconduct. Add that up. There's 32 minutes right there for Ray Emery in a matter of a few seconds. So, yeah. And then that was, believe it or not, my last game in Buffalo. I got traded a few days later to Philadelphia.
Walked it off.
So my brother, Big Matthew, who was playing, he played in the NHL, but he was playing in Hamilton at the time. After the game, he goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm going to fight him. I'm going to go. Like, it's a team thing. I'm sticking with my teammates." He goes, "Well, if you're going to fight him, like, grab his right hand. Like, don't fight as a lefty. Come in as a righty, grab his arm, and then try to at least beat out." I'm like, never occurred
Marty,
to me. I had no idea.
Are you a lefty, Marty?
I'm a right-handed person. I don't know why I grabbed it.
You're a righty. You're a righty, and you came in southpaw.
Yes,
I didn't know how to fight. I never had worked on it. In my mind, it was like, I'm gonna just get a lucky punch and he's gonna go down. I don't have to worry about it.
Honestly, Ray Emery, even though he's tough, even though Ray's tough as nails, and he probably was thinking to himself when you came in as a lefty, he's probably like, this guy. Whoa, this guy's a lefty. Like, it probably started making him think a little bit that he's really in.
I should have ripped a few laughs. I should have been like, literally, I was Rocky Balboa the other way when Mickey tells him to fight righty, and then at the very end, you got to come back to the left. Like, I should have gone in lefty, toe to toe, like boom, 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 and then at the very end, grab and just go knock down with the right.
I got a funny. I got a Ray Emery story from the OHL. We were playing in the OHL, and it was an offensive zone face-off for my team. And
okay, you're in Erie, and he's in the Sioux?
Yeah.
Where was he?
Did he play in Kingston also? Or was it just the Sioux? Anyways, I know it was Ray Emery because from then on, I'm like, this guy's nuts. And then he made, I saw him fighting you and doing all this stuff in the NHL. So yeah, it must have been in the Sioux. Anyways, I lined up for an offensive zone face-off. I was playing for the Erie Otters. And so I'm lined up on the inner part of the circle, right? So I'm probably 7 feet from the goal. And all of a sudden I start hearing like somebody yelling, "Rupper, let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go." And I turn, I look at the defenseman next to me, and he goes, like, "Not me." And the other the other winger there is like, "Not me." And also I look, and I see him peeking over top, and he's like, "Come on, give me one. Give me one." I'm like, I turn on him, I go, "You're a fucking goalie. What are you talking about? You think I'm just gonna I've never heard anything like that in my life." He's trying to fight me off the draw as a goaltender. And I'm literally like, is this guy joking? Like, does he want me to drop the gloves and then I'm going to take a penalty and then they're going to, I'm like, for the rest of the time, I'm like, are you fucking serious? He's like, I'm dead serious. Let's go. We ended up not fighting. I'm like, this guy's crazy, dude.
So for how crazy Ray was, and I'll tell you this, I mean, he passed away a few years back and it was a tragic accident. So about a year before his passing, the Sabres and the alumni and the radio station Buffalo WGR, they do a celebrity roast once a year or whatnot. And they did, Danny Gare, and they did, who else? They did a bunch of other players, Bills and Sabres and whatnot. So they said, "Marty, we're going to do you." And so I had a bunch of guys, Jason Woolley, JP Dumont, Danny Briere, Andrew Peters. My brother was there, a bunch of guys like roasting me. And it was awesome. It was a fun night. But they wanted Ray Emery to come in and roast me. And they're like, "Look, Ray, we'll pay for your time, pay for everything." And he was like, "Nah, I'm not sure." So I call him up and, I'm like, that would be so much fun. He goes, "Marty, to be honest with you, like, I don't really feel comfortable coming into Buffalo and being that guy, that villain that's going to rip on you or whatever. Like, I played the game hard, but I'm at a different stage of my life now. And I don't want people to see me as this jerk or asshole that comes in and just wants to rip on you." So, and I think he was getting married that summer, and he's like, I don't really want to, be that guy. And I was like, I totally respect it. And and we never got to talk about it. We never got to talk about the fight. We never got to talk about what it was like, which is unfortunate. But that's how he changed, his playing personality to his retirement personality. This is the guy that punches his trainer in Russia, right? Because the guy was trying to put a hat on his head and he punched his trainer in the hallway after getting pulled. Like, he was different, but he had changed, and that's unfortunate that he passed.
Yeah, I've never heard a sideways thing about the guy off the ice. Off the ice. So that's one of the great things about hockey, right? Like everyone, you could be nuts, you could be this, you could be that on the ice, and then off the ice, just heard great things from all of his teammates. So kind of sad way that things kind of ended there with Ray Emery.